So welcome one and all. I hereby welcome our esteemed guest speaker, Ms. Namita Tiwari. Welcome, ma'am. Currently, she is working with Tata Communications as Senior Manager, Digital and Content Marketing. Before joining Tata Communications, Namita has worked with Accenture for 4 years, with NIIT Technologies for 3 years. Both are leading digital marketing initiatives. Moreover, she has also worked with HCL Technologies for 5 years. Early in her career, Namita worked in Finacle Marketing Team, a banking software product of Infosys, for 2 years. She is a seasoned marketing professional with great passion to create next generation marketing programs that converge digital, brand, and content. With more than 18 plus years marketing experience in both products and services in technology industry, Namita is passionate about digital and content marketing. She has led many marketing teams leveraged business storytelling from idea to execution. Welcome, ma'am. Now stage is yours. Please guide our students and everybody.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rajiv, and thank you so much, Mr. Arpan. Hello, everyone who's online listening to this webcast. I am very happy to talk about the game-changing trends in digital marketing and e-commerce for 2021. And I'll start my presentation. I'll just share my screen. Let me know when you can see it.
Yes, it is visible, ma'am.
Yes. So we'll talk about the game-changing trends in digital marketing, e-commerce. How has the life and business changed after coronavirus, the pandemic that we all were, facing, the way we worked, the way we lived for the last 1 year, and how the entire world changed into a digital globe. And we realized that there were no physical movements, there were no physical offices to go to. We were all working digitally, living digitally, and one of the starting point for this conversation I have made is the way our life has turned into a digital globe, the way our entire world turned into a digital globe. And the three things that came out from what happened and the way it changed the business. The first and the most important game-changing trend is remote working and hybrid events are here to stay. So because of the virus, we all were working remotely, and we were and the events that were physical events, they turned into hybrid events. And even now, as we are moving towards vaccination, we are moving towards getting back into the pre-COVID life. We know that some of these, changes are going to be there with us. So we know that remote working is likely to continue in many ways for business reasons. And there are many big companies who have started, letting go of their physical offices, encouraging remote working, identifying the cost-benefit analysis of keeping their employees, making employees work from home rather than bringing them to offices entirely. So there's a hybrid working model that's there, a mix of people working from home and a mix of people working from offices. Events, there were big events that got cancelled last year because of the coronavirus. One was World Mobile Congress. I was working for that event, and suddenly the pandemic came and changed the game entirely. And then, we as we moved ahead for the last entire year, there've been no physical events that were held. The big ones were definitely not, and no physical events were held. Everything has gone online, and that's how it's likely to be, as we predict. And the second big game-changing trend that came out of the coronavirus and the pandemic world has been that e-commerce has turned tables. It's become the best bet, and we all are buying online and shopping online, banking online, and e-commerce has really changed the game. and it is likely to remain like that for the next years to come. The third thing is content consumption has become even more simpler. So I'm being a digital and content marketer for so many years. I have realized that content is a very important, part of marketing and selling. They say that content is king, and I have realized that because of the current events that have happened, content consumption has become is expected to be even more simpler. So what I'm trying to say here is that instead of going to Google and typing that I want to buy this, or going to Amazon and typing this, I want to buy myself a dress. People, users and customers are just doing voice searches and expecting that things to be delivered to them at their doorstep. So, voice searching and voice shopping, or, talking to virtual assistants like Alexa and Siri, and, the the, the interaction with virtual chatbots is how a user is behaving. User is not, the user and customer has become very lazy. They have started getting into a zone where they feel that everything should be enabled with the command of voice. And after talking about these three trends, I would like to also mention some numbers here. So, the e-commerce market is expected to go to 6.54 trillion by next year. And I'd also like to mention that there is hardcore evidence in the research that people are moving towards voice search and voice-based interaction. Not only that, podcasts have become very, very important, and are changing the social media engagements also, not just the buying engagements. I have this video that I'm going to play, in which Bernard Marr is a very key influencer and a business futurist. And I'll share a video of his with everyone. So I also want to talk about a couple of quotes from various other leaders in the industry. And these are quotes from Google. And what they are talking about is that as we are facing these game-changing trends, what they feel is that, brand will matter, brand will stay popular, brand dominance will matter. In fact, we have Matt Cutts saying that, when they look at the entire quality of sites on the Google, and when they identify what sites and what e-commerce sites and which kind of websites are gaining traction. So it's the high quality, high brand sites which are mattering. So I just wanted to highlight that before I move ahead in my presentation. Talking about e-commerce 2021, while we will talk about the trends and going forward in the presentation, there are some basics that every e-commerce company has to have it right in 2021. So these 3 points are around facilitating your consumers with all the right payment options. In India, we noticed how the way Paytm soared, and the way everything, money turned into Paytm. There were no hard cash. Cash was not the king anymore. So it's all about online commerce, and for that, it's important that you facilitate the right payment valleys for your users, and also have certain financing options available to make it easier for you to aid the buying of the digital buyer, to help him. Simplifying the checkout process as much as you can. And of course, fraud protection and security protection is very, very critical. So every now and then we hear about security threats and breaches, and it's important that every e-commerce setup gets this right. I'll start talking about the trends. I have about 9 to 10 trends in my slides. The first one is artificial intelligence turns a friend in need. So what happens when you need something and you want to know more about it? You turn to Alexa, or you talk to a chatbot, and that's precisely the kind of future we are looking at. We will have we will have artificial intelligence playing a very important role in e-commerce and digital marketing. It is already playing an important role, but it will get bigger as we move ahead. And the second important trend is that data drives to digital buying. So we are very much aware of the importance of data, and in the recent times, we know what the Facebooks of the world and WhatsApps of the world are trying to run after. So it's data basically, and how they're going to use it is for digital buying. That's precisely uh, what the idea is, and that's precisely how we know that how important data is for us. Uh, the third trend is important because the third trend talks about sustainability. It talks about how this entire pandemic made us introspect. It made us realize the value of life, the importance of life, and hence the importance of Earth, and how it is everyone's responsibility to have sustainability agendas in mind for a greener planet, for a safer planet. So I'll just drop in some more data points to map my trends. And first, we have the example of Amazon and how it has for long used AI algorithms and chatbots and everything to promote relevant products to its customers. Uh, we also have information around how data is playing a key role in the buying experiences, how virtual chatbots and virtual assistants, how they are functioning. They are basically functioning basis the data that we feed into them, and how they lies well with the CRM tools to leverage that data and lack the stigma, make us buy more from them. Uh, the third trend you would see, especially after the pandemic, there is a great consciousness in brands, in environmentalists, to be more responsible towards what we do, how we do, and how important it is to have that sustainability factor in mind as we do business and live further. Some of the other trends that are there. Trend number 4 is brand stand mighty. So yes, as we heard Bernard also talking about it, and we also saw the quotes from Google, brands will remain important. Informed buyers will want to buy from informed brands. So what happens is, from personalization, we are moving towards personal commerce, and wherein consumers are being targeted by so many brands with so many manners. In the name of personalization, consumers are being overloaded with many efforts, and it's almost choking. And instead of making a customer buy all these personalization efforts, it is actually upsetting the customer. And what is actually needed is deep personalization, and of course relying on brand equity, relying on the importance of the brands. Uh, so what basically a user would need in such an environment where he's being targeted online by many companies is that he would look for a very real experience, a very real and live virtual experience, instead of these kind of fake emails or fake personalization efforts that we keep seeing our consumers being driven into. So it's important that we give a very trusted kind of a buying experience to our consumers. It is very important that they feel that their data is safe, that they are trusting the right brand, and they will have a good experience and a good product in hand. The trend number 6 is new power of voice search. So as I just mentioned, and there's a there is a quote from Comscore also, that a huge number of voice search, a huge percentage of searches is purely voice search now. So basically, people are not going and typing, and they are just searching using voice searches. There is a app. There is an app called Club Voice, and it's an important app which has raised so much of popularity because it's a voice search and an invitation only app. But what I'm trying to say is that voice search is changing the game totally. And there are companies like Jetson AI, which work with Amazons of the world and Shopify's of the world to help voice search aid e-commerce and be the bridge between voice search and e-commerce. Okay, So the next three trends, the first one is influencer marketing, as Bernard mentioned, and as we have probably would have heard also, influencer marketing has always been important. But in the current scenario and the changes that the industry is going through right now, influencer marketing has become very, very important. Uh, in an era where everybody is advocating every brand, there are influencers in the industry. There are even micro influencers and mega influencers for people look up to, and they understand and they rely on their recommendations. So influencer marketing will remain the key because uh, the industry is full of many, many voices. So it's important that if you are marketing a product, have the right influencers talk about your brand, and it would help. And it would also increase the trust of consumers in your brand. Social media turns into a sales channel instead of just awareness or discovery. So while social media platforms like Facebook have always been a place where a brand will talk about how great it is and put up its creative and basically it would be a channel of discovery for consumers or to know more about the brand. But as we are moving into 2021 and the years ahead, we know that social media will turn into a sales channel. So it will add on to the e-commerce gambit, and we will have Facebook will not just be a place to connect, it will be a place to buy and shop also. And that is precisely the reason why we see that so many brands are harping on data, are wanting to know everything about the user behavior, because things are moving in that direction, because social commerce is something which is coming into picture. So it's not just e-commerce, it is personal commerce, it is social commerce. That's what the industry is heading towards, and all the retail brands will have to adapt to it. Again, shift from personalization to personal commerce. I spoke about it in the last slide also. It again tells on the point that personalization needs to be done very carefully. In fact, if we can move to deep personalization, where we are trying our best to give a very trusted and virtual real experience to our uh, users, instead of bombarding them with multiple emails and multiple ads. So perhaps deep personalization will be a better approach to take in terms of marketing. And yes, personal commerce and social commerce is going to happen. So while I have spoken about what's happening in the industry in general, I definitely want all the members who are watching this webinar and have listened to me for the last 10 to 20 minutes on the trends of game-changing digital marketing and e-commerce, to know how my trends are actually being applied in the industry. Now, these next few slides and videos are very important because they will help you understand how e-commerce trends and digital marketing trends are actually implicating the industry. So we'll start with retail. I'm going to play this video again. I'll stop my share and play this video. This is from COO of Shopify, and this video is specifically talking about how the sales of Shopify have increased after coronavirus happened. Yes, so we'll move on to another case study for banking industry. This one is just about the future of banking and how digital banking is changing the game and how it will change the game. How it is very likely that we are not going to have any physical banking. Every banking will turn into virtual banking. So I will just play this video as well. And I hope you are enjoying the videos. I hope you're so now I'll talk about a few micro trends in digital marketing. The reason why I'm calling them micro trends is that while these seem transactional and these seem introspective, but as compared to the mega trends, these are very important as well, because unless you don't get these things right on your website, on your content, on your digital marketing initiatives, it will be difficult for you to play with the mega trends and make the most of what's happening in the industry in terms of the big trends. So I'll start with the website. On the website, your page speed and the website loading speed is very, very important. And it has been researched that it increases the conversion of to up to 7%. The length of the content in terms of text won't matter much, but it is very important that you bring up audio and video content to bring quality and engagement in your dealings with your customers and users. Again, here I would like to reinforce the trend of voice searches and audio content in terms of engaging with your users. It's very important to go beyond the textual content that we have been playing around with and move into a more engaging dynamic content like video, audio, podcasts, webinars. So these are going to be important micro trends. The third point talks about the fact that there are no silver bullets that are clear cut available to us to harp on and get the gains, get the kind of buying uh, swifter buying cycle, or get the kind of numbers in terms of our sales through e-commerce and digital marketing. But what we need to do is to optimize all our efforts in multiple manners, put them together, and hence hope for a marginal gain. Aspire for things to shine forward and change while making our small steps in various directions clear and swifter and better. And the ranking will matter very much. How you rank, whether you're showing up in the top 10 rank or not, will matter a lot in terms of your digital buying journey, because when you are trying to sell things on e-commerce and digital marketing platforms, on online platforms, it is important that you show up sooner for you to be noted by the customer. Otherwise, just like we mentioned in the beginning about customers getting lazy, so they don't want to make any extra efforts to reach out to you. You have to perform better, come up better on their searches, not just Google searches or textual searches, voice searches, so to say. And the fifth one is about repurposing and updating the content. So more important than releasing a new podcast or releasing a new video, it is more important that you update what you have over there every periodically, perhaps every month. So if you have a video that talks about, let's say, the best fashion trends, so make sure it gets updated. Instead of having a new trends video every quarter, try and see if you can update the same one. You will have subscriber list, you will have more engagement, you will have people commenting on it again and again, which will be better for you rather than creating new content every now and then. And to explain these trends better, there is a industry expert called Neil Patel. I'm sure you would have heard about them. I'm sure the students who are here would have heard about Neil Patel. And he's a very well-known industry figure for digital marketing and content marketing. And I'm going to play a small video from Neil in which he's going to talk typically about the same micro trends that I spoke about. But it's going to be worth your time to hear this. It's important to get these kind of basics right in our digital marketing efforts.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a really good presentation. It's a really good topic, all the different topic which is discussed by you. Definitely the student will get a lots of input from your side, because as a teacher, we are definitely giving a theoretical concept to them, but you have given some real input to them. You have talked about the world turn into the digital globe, that we all have seen that definitely now the world has completely turned into the digital globe. Each and every different work which we are doing, it is completely based on digital. During this pandemic, those persons who are not actually using the digital content or not using this technology, they all are completely dependent upon that. You have also talked about the various trends which is based on artificial intelligence, digital buying, brands, and various things. You have also talked about that how the companies are thinking about the digital content. What is the importance of digital content or the website content? How you also talk about what is the importance of these e-commerce things. Okay, so and you have also with the various videos we have also get a lots of different kinds of inputs. So thank you, ma'am. It's a very good. Definitely, we have some of the question from the students. I have received lots of questions from the question answer section also, or we have also received the question from in my WhatsApp. So first of all, I invite Rajesh sir. Rajesh sir, do you have any question from your side?
Yes, sir. I have a question from Madam. Madam, my name is Rajesh and I am faculty here in Amity School of Business. I have seen both the times when I used to stand in a queue on, ticket booking railway counter. There is a queue of 300, 400 people I have seen. Today there is no queue. We are using a digital world, right? But in next 5 years, how do you see this artificial intelligence? I mean, what this AI is going to play, what kind of role this AI is going to play in next 5 years? I mean, you talked about artificial intelligence, which has become very, important part of this automation and all. So 5 साल बाद क्या? I mean to say, what will happen after 5 years?
So as I spoke about before and in my videos also, something like buying a ticket, a railway ticket, or something like opening an account in a bank, or things related to money, they're definitely going to, going to go virtual. I will not even say that you have to open a phone. I think you'll be carrying some sort of a band in your hand, and some IoT play will happen, and your money will get deducted. So, but of course, while we talk about money going cashless, and money being a virtual currency, uh, there's another aspect of security. So while we will become very averse to physical money exchange, or while physical traveling or physical standing in a queue for buying a railway ticket of any sorts will go away, but what challenge will come, or is likely to come, will be the aspect of security. So in terms of our life, it will become much more simpler. From AI, from mobile commerce, we will move to even just headband IoT commerce kind of situation. But yes, security will become a challenge. Security will become very, very important. Yes, any transaction, any money related thing will totally go virtual. That is for sure. Have I answered your question, or?
Yes, definitely. But I got an answer. You nicely talked about security, and I'm looking for this. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Rajesh sir. So we have one question from Mr. Akshat. He is asking about how can set up and implement the e-commerce trends, because it's a bit costly. Because whenever the companies are thinking about to set up their e-commerce concept, definitely they require lots of hardware, lots of softwares. So what is your opinion about the same for any startup, new startup
Yes.
concept?
Yes. So if you, if you noted what the Shopify COO spoke about, he spoke about this point. So many entrepreneurs who are starting up with their own, businesses, it is important. It is, probably very cost intensive to set up their own e-commerce setup. What you can start off with, partner with Amazon, or become, tie up with Amazon or Shopify's, or related players in the market, and then make an entry. Once your business and once your brand gets that kind of traction, when you start getting more customers and your revenues go up, then you can evaluate the right kind of e-commerce platform, and start your own e-commerce platform. So basically, partnering, finding the right players who you can go to market together with, can be a solution here.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Because definitely in a video we also got to know about the same. Because if you talk about the two most important thing, that is the Shopify and Facebook. So the major companies are basically looking for Shopify, because they are giving a lots of different e-commerce company website. They are maintaining and providing multiple different kinds of services. Yeah, Rajesh sir, please.
I have a question, ma'am, from my student side. My student is asking, why total e-retail in India is so less? I mean, below 2%. Whereas the
I think,
government, just a second, ma'am. Whereas government is putting a lot of effort, we have come in ease of doing business. We have come to 63rd position in the whole world. When in 2014 this government was formed, we were at 150th position. Today we are at 63rd position. Even then, as far as this e-commerce e-retail is concerned, we are below 2%. Why, ma'am? One of my students is asking.
Yes. No, I really encourage, I'm happy to have this question. So see, in India, there are many factors that are, that come into picture, no matter what kind of business we get into. So there are, possibly the government, while there are efforts in every direction, I think the kind of openness and the kind of secured ecosystem, is needed for e-commerce to play, to play the way it is playing in the Western world. It would take some time, but to be very honest, looking at the current situation of Corona and how everything swirled up, how earlier if you would have said we are working from home for, for longer period of time, we wouldn't have imagined the way we've taken up, this work from home concept. Similarly, even in the e-commerce, the way the ecosystem plays up, maybe in some time with the right security measures, with the right mindset, even the users. I'll give you an example that, if I am in the Western world, if I am buying something in Europe, the kind of trust is very high, the kind of security is very high. While in India, even when I'm buying from Amazon or I'm buying from Flipkart, I am somewhere, wondering, oh, my credit card details are going here, So I think I'm sure you've understood my point. So in terms of user behavior, the trust has to go up. In terms of the e-commerce ecosystem, the environment has to be favorable to the kind of world we are looking at.
One more question from Sankalp P is writing on WhatsApp, madam. Ki
Sure.
whatever e-commerce today we can see is just because of Amazon, right? And whatever Amazon.in we have is Amazon.com 2008 version of USA. I mean, we are running behind in technology. So
Yes.
सवाल ये है इनका कि can we have Amazon Go kind of thing over here in our country sometimes later?
We can have everything in few years. In fact, when everything that Amazon had, even the Amazon Prime came to India 5 years after it was in US. So there is a lag time that we are, facing. I think everything that is there in the Western world can definitely come to Indian world. I would not say that, this thing is something that will never work or will never come in India market. I think, while we are talking about Amazon, we also have a very smart player, which is an Indian player called Flipkart. While I am myself an Amazon user, but I know that Flipkart does compete very well. So, and it's a purely Indian startup getting that big. So,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I think things can come to India as well.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be always comparing whether that will come or it will not come.
Yeah.
Things will come. Whatever is right for our audience will come to us.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Anything else? Any other question? I'm happy to answer.
Oh yeah, one more question we have that is related to retail banking, because one of the students they are writing that okay, we have seen in the retail in a video that retail banking the 2030 we have the completely different situation. Okay, so what is your opinion if you see the Indian market? Because as you know, in Indian market still we have very less person who is using the technology. So what do you feel in 2030 where you are seeing to this retail banking in Indian market?
See, I definitely agree to some part of what was shown in the video, that things will go virtual, and by 2030 in India, it is just 9 years from now. I think part of banking activities will definitely go virtual, and they have gone virtual. So if you've noticed the recent advertisements of Standard Chartered featuring Anushka Sharma, where everything you are opening the bank account virtually or taking a loan virtually. So those things, some part of retail banking will definitely go totally virtual. But yes, because of security issues and because of various other user mindset issues, I think the physical banking will remain in some form or the other. So for example, if it's a home loan of sorts, I think, I would not want to just virtually, I would want to go and meet the bank. But if it is a small ticket item, I'm happy doing it virtually. I hope I've answered my
Yeah, definitely, ma'am. Okay, thanks a lot, ma'am. And it's a really good things for to listen you, and we receive lots of inputs. Our students also receive lots of input. We know that tomorrow when we go to the classes, we have lots of other question in their mind based on today's session. Okay, sir. Dr. Rajiv, do you have any inputs or any question?
Yes, I would like to say it was very enlightening session, Namita madam. So I would like to ask one question. As we were talking about Flipkart and other companies about India, what our Indian companies should do in future to reach the level of Amazon and Walmart so that we can compete with them? It may be based on infrastructure or it may be based on strategies. Where should we focus?
I think, infrastructure wise, I think the way I see Jeff Bezos coming to India every 6 months and putting billion more in the way Papa Bezos funds his company, it's a difficult thing to match. But I would definitely say that, what are the strengths of Indian players? What can be the strengths? They know the Indian market well. They know the Indian psyche well. Why don't we do something different in the market, looking at do something that we know that user will trust an Indian e-commerce site only. They will not go to a Western things like that. There are various strategies that they can deploy, understanding the user mind, what can work, what cannot work. But yes, it's a difficult thing to match, because Amazon is also in India and they also have great powers.
Yeah.
They are great powers to match. So it's kind of a tricky thing, but I would suggest that innovation in strategy, innovation in knowing what their strengths can be, is the way they can differentiate.
So I think we can hope these future managers who are listening to you, they would do something innovative in the future when they go to organizations, and they would bring the change.
Yes, I hope so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It was really great session. We all will get a lots of inputs for the same. And definitely we also put a request to you that whenever we have the face-to-face campus, we want to invite you on behalf of the Amity family to the campus to deliver a session to all the other students also, because they will also get certain content relation based on your experience, or you can share your experience. It was really nice. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thank you, Rajiv sir. Thank you, Rajesh sir. Thank you, Namita
Thank you,
ma'am.
sir. Thank you.